There is such a thing as truth. And that was the beginning of my wake-up call. In order to succeed, you have to be always on, because this baby, this company depends on you.
How does Ariana Huffington hire? The most important thing that we entrepreneurs have is our human capital. If we exhaust it, we make bad decisions. End of quote. Ariana Huffington. In this video, we will talk about Ariana Huffington's interview process. We will also discuss the questions asked during the interview and how to best represent yourself. For more episodes, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. When it comes to human capital, Ariana believes in a balanced work process. She knows that the human capital is an entrepreneur's greatest strength. Instead of overworking or exploiting her employees, she focuses on creating a balanced paradigm. It is to leverage human capital in a coexisting work environment where both parties grow together. Who is Ariana Huffington? Ariana Huffington is an American author, commentator best known for creating the Huffington Post, a popular liberal website offering news and commentary. As the daughter of a Greek newspaper owner, Stassinopoulos moved to England at the age of 16 and later studied economics at Cambridge University and graduated in 1972. In her undergrad studies at Cambridge, she was the president of the Cambridge Union Debate Society. She was the first foreigner to hold the position. After graduation, she moved to the United States in the 1980s. Eventually, she moved to California with the Republican politician Michael Huffington, whom she married in 1986 and divorced in 1997. As a co-founder and editor-in-chief of the Huffington Post website, Huffington served as a co-founder and editor-chief in 2005. Hundreds of guests contributed to the blog each week, and AOL acquired the Huffington Post in March 2011 for $315 million. It's also a news site with links to news sources and columnists. Huffington was appointed president and editor-in-chief of the Huffington Post Media Group, a new venture that included content from the website and AOL. She announced in 2016 that she would be leaving the company to start Thrive Global, a health and wellness venture. Thrive Global in 2017 was ranked one of the top 10 New York startups to watch, and LinkedIn ranked it as one of the 50 most sought after startups in the country in 2018. The company aims to end the stress and burnout epidemic by providing behavior change technology and media to individuals and organizations worldwide, valued at $120 million in 2017. With the latest science-backed micro steps, companies and employees can reduce stress, improve well-being, and maximize productivity. Thrive Global founder Ariana Huffington has dedicated her career to burnout prevention. In 2007, she collapsed from exhaustion and woke up in a pool of blood with broken cheekbones, resulting in her startup.
2.5 years ago, I fainted from exhaustion. I hit my head on my desk, I broke my cheekbone, I got 5 stitches on my right eye. And I began the journey of rediscovering the value of sleep. And in the course of that, I studied, I met with medical doctors, scientists, and I'm here to tell you that the way to a more productive, more inspired, more joyful life is getting enough sleep.
The organization is creating innovation practices which will have a significant impact on companies around the world. Her work culture. When it comes to hiring the best employees, Ariana focuses on offering a work culture that helps both the company and the employees grow together. She understands that the human capital is her biggest asset In an interview with Forbes, she mentioned that you need to offer employees a workplace culture where they can bring their whole selves to work and succeed without burning out. To ensure that everyone in the company gets enough sleep, they have a wellness room with a nap pod. However, if they don't sleep for whatever reason, if they are up with a sick child in the middle of the night, they recommend taking a 20-minute nap. The company also offers chair massage once a week to help people relax and unwind, and they serve healthy lunches and snacks whenever possible. Several of their conference rooms have been named after philosophers whose work they integrated into their work. There is also a micro step wall with a few hundreds of our 700 micro steps, which they call too small to fail steps, broken down into small daily steps that lead to behavior changes.
So as we're facing all the multiple crises in our world at the moment, what is good for us on a personal level, what's going to bring more joy, gratitude, effectiveness in our lives, and be the best for our own careers, is also what is best for the world. So I urge you to shut your eyes and discover the great ideas that lie inside us, to shut your engines and discover the power of sleep.
Ariana Huffington, #1 interview tip. The co-founder of the Huffington Post says there is one thing that can quickly destroy young companies. During the Inc. and CNBC Iconic Conference, Huffington said she was allergic to passive-aggressive people. Going behind someone's back is the fastest way to destroy a company, she said. Huffington strongly believes in having employees that are loyal to her company's mission and believe in her vision. If you are trying to work at Thrive Global, the fastest way to get hired or not get fired is by not going behind the company's back or acting morally corrupt. One rule that Huffington abides by while hiring. I have a rule that I learned the hard way, she said during Iconic Tour Conference in New York. No brilliant jerks permitted. No dumb jerks either. Huffington made clear that the rule is easy. The hard one is no brilliant jerks. She says it doesn't matter how brilliant a prospective employee is if you think they could be toxic to the company in the future. Don't go there. If you go there by mistake, fire them as quickly as possible, she said. The truth is, she continues, there is nothing worse for a culture than top performers who undermine their colleagues and create an atmosphere where people cannot perform at their best.
If we get a critical mass of people thinking and speaking differently, we can change it. And that's why when we cover the election, we are both covering the horse race, but we're also covering what's really going on, the narrative that's important. And when we challenge Obama, Obama has not exactly delivered on a lot of the key issues that he was supposed to deliver on. And he escalated in Afghanistan. He wasn't bold enough when it came to the kind of investments needed to bring the country out of the recession. So we are not, we don't feel that we have to cheerlead for either party or any particular individual.
Huffington go-to interview question. According to Huffington, her go-to interview question is, I always ask, what do you want to do in 5 years? It reveals where their heart is and whether or not they see this job as a stepping stone. Is there a reason employers ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Interviewers ask you about your professional goals for the next 5 years so they can get a sense of a few things. Interviewers want to know if you plan to stay with the company for at least 5 years. The length of time an employee stays in a specific position will depend on your applying job. The longer employees stay at a company, the less turnover and turnover-related expense it has to worry about. If you don't see yourself in that position or with that company for at least the next 5 years, this is valuable information an employer would want to know before hiring you. If your goals are aligned with the employer's, You probably have a few set of goals in mind regarding how you want to grow within the position you are applying for. The interviewer will be able to inform you if there is a possibility of moving up to a management position over the next 5 years if you apply for an entry-level position. In addition, if you begin in one of the places you want to move to another position in another department or field, you would want to know if your employer offers these kind of options. An employer can determine if an employee is right fit for the company by evaluating both of these factors. You will also be able to decide if the company is a good fit for your career goals based on the information they provide you during the job interview.
I think what I had to learn is to delegate. I think delegating is incredibly important. A lot of entrepreneurs think everything has to go through them. And it becomes really a complete mess because A, they can't possibly know everything, and B, they become a stumbling block for decisions, if everything has to go through them. So I had to learn to hire great people and to delegate, not to micromanage. So here, let's take at Thrive. I hired a fantastic COO who used to run SurveyMonkey, who had a lot of knowledge about setting up infrastructures and processes and quotas for salespeople and bonus systems and all the things you need to get right to be able to deliver a profitable company. When I left the Huffington Post, I took a couple of amazing people with me whom I knew extremely well, which is also a great advantage. One of them had joined the Huffington Post as an intern, so he had been with me for 12 years, and he's now running the global expansion of Thrive. The other one used to be my chief of staff, and he's now running biz dev. So this is just a few examples of bringing great talent with you and not living under this delusion that, hey, I, superwoman, know everything, I'm going to do everything, because A, I don't know everything. And B, I'm not going to be as good if I try to do everything.
Now, were you ever...
How to answer the interview questions? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? For example, how do you ask this kind of question? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Preparing for interview questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Before the interview, this will ensure you provide well thought out answers and successfully convey your message to the hiring manager. Preparing for and answering this interview question involves the following steps: is to clarify your career goals. Spend some time thinking about your career goals for the next 5 years. Do you plan on learning a new skill? Are you aspiring to become a manager someday? Would you like to work on particular projects? Would you like to work in a specific field? You might also answer this question by considering what you would like to see on your resume in the next 5 years. Would you like to hold a particular title or certification? Make a list of your goals. Make connection between your goals and your job description. You can connect your goals with the job you're applying for if you looked at the job description. See what traits and skills you already have and areas you want to gain more experience in. Your interviewers can relate your goals to the position you're applying for. Consider whether the company you're applying with can prepare you for your career goals in 5 years is something you should be honest about. If it cannot, consider rethinking the position or tell the employer that you may not be with the company for 5 years. Interview questions at Thrive Global. How would you describe yourself? First, briefly explain your current role, responsibility, and at least one significant achievement. Next, talk about how your past experience led you to where you are today. In conclusion, explain why you are a good candidate for the job you are interviewing for and why you want it. What are the weaknesses and strengths you have, and be honest about that. You could choose an actual flaw that you are trying to improve and then explain how you overcome it. Recruiters will be able to tell if it's genuine. Self-assessment and continual improvement are qualities that any employer will appreciate. The other question, how did you hear about this position? The interviewer wants to see how committed you are to their company, and your response will demonstrate that. You would have a good start if you learned about the open position from the company website or social media. You also show the recruiter that you remain updated with the company affairs, or if you heard about it from an employee of the same company. The other question you may be asked, why you want to work at this company. Knowing a lot about the company, you are interviewing to impress the interviewer. Even so, it's not always easy to find information on a company goal-setting culture or other workplace traditions. Your research does not necessarily mean that you cannot talk about something. Explain how you first came across the company and how it has evolved. Discuss the company's growth and any changes it has undergone thus far. When you share, show interest to the recruiter so that the recruiter knows your interest has been there from the beginning. The other question may be asked, what makes you want this job? To begin with, this question gives you a chance to express your enthusiasm and share your knowledge of the company. In addition, you will be asked to pitch why you are the right fit for the company and the position. A good way to answer this question is to align your skills and experiences with the job description. Conclusion: Ariana Huffington has built a work culture where employees grow together with the company. She believes in a collaborative approach. Her interview focuses on understanding your long-term goal. Show the interviewer where you see yourself with the company in the long term. Do your work before the interview. Know the history and culture of the company before applying. This increases your chances of being hired. That's all for today's episode. Links to everything will be in the description below. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It will notify you about our new content that we share with you every week. This will help us to produce great content for our professional audience. Let us know if there is something that you want us to talk about in a future episode. Please click the link in the show notes and you can address your questions directly to me. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.